I think it is too early. Truly, I think it's too early, and I support on this.
Yeah.
I support Uhuru.
Okay.
That we shouldn't engage in early campaigns, because truly the development of the country is going to suffer immensely.
Yeah.
If we are going to spend the entire period campaigning only 1 year after, and by the way, we never stopped. The campaign, even after announcing the elections, the election results, continued. NASA continued to campaign. Even after the handshake, the campaign is still continuing. So you really wonder, when then shall we do the rest of the work that needs to be done? If you go to countries like Italy or Spain or Japan that have that have had problems with elections, so that they have them too regularly, they have a different system that allows the civil service, because there it's not the politicians that run the government, more or less. They draw policies, but those policies are executed by the civil service, which does this very faithfully and very well. So that even if we are in a referendum, that doesn't stop. The people don't go without water, or they don't go without roads, or they don't go without education, because money is not flowing as it should flow, or there is a breakdown of governance, as sometimes as surely happens in any African country. Each time you have So I truly think that we should think less about the campaign, do more about what we need to do. But again, I see when we are talking about having a census, it's a political. It looks like we have politicized it already. We are going to have a referendum.
It is politics.
This is politics. And then after the referendum, the election, it looks like, even as we are trying to run away from the campaigns,
the campaign is there, and we still have the boundary.
We are already engulfed. So we may not be able to get away with it. But I think that it is too early to decide what position one may run for. I could run for any position.
Mheshimiwa, you merged your party with Jubilee, and as we've witnessed recently, President Uhuru is giving jobs, but you've not gotten any job, either in the national government or government.
Appointments.
Do you want to ask Uhuru to give you a job?
How do you ask a president to give you a job? How do you do that? Well, I would think that any president will give any person a job because they think that person deserves a job or has the capacity to contribute to national development, and that there is no good reason why not to give him a job if there are jobs available. I remember when Kenyatta, the father, Kenyatta, Uhuru's father, even during the time when the relationship between him and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was very hostile, he still gave them jobs. I remember Oginga Odinga being chairman of cotton seed board or something like that. I remember Kenyatta, although he was in bitter disagreement with Kagia, he made him chairman of Kenya Maize Board. Kenyatta, again, Kenyatta did not forget to give J.D. Kali a job, although again he was a bitter political enemy. And I'm saying this to indicate, to kind of say, even if somebody considers you an enemy, a political enemy, that's no reason why not to give them an opportunity for them to contribute to the development of the country. But again, since I'm not starving, I'm happy to do the job that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I think that it is good for Uhuru Kenyatta to remember that it's if somebody can make a contribution, don't deny them the opportunity, because the country loses.
Yeah.
And they themselves lose, and the society loses. All of us lose when we say we will not give so and so a job because he is this or that. Even if I was a political enemy, which I don't consider myself, that doesn't mean that I should be unfree to criticize the government or criticize the president. As long as I'm doing it in good faith, I should be free to do so. And that can never be a reason not to give anybody a job. People like Ngoge Wathiong we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's high time they came home. People like Meshere Mogo, Shadrach Guto, many Kenyans who are still in exile, they ought to be back home. We need them. Let's give them jobs. When we don't give them jobs and they can do these jobs, instead, we let them make contributions to the development of other countries, we are failing. Generally, we are failing as a people, as a country. Because why allow Ngoge to go and make his immense contribution to the US? Why? When we are the ones who paid for his education. And yet now he is making his contribution there. All the other people, you can count them. Unless somebody refuses, we should not be shy to offer them. And offering somebody a job is not a sign of cowardice. It is actually a mark of greatness.
Asante mheshimiwa.
Mimi nilikuwa na moja tu, since you did and you answer like very elaborately about the case of Miguna. Now that he seems to be unable to come back, and you really fought for the freedoms and people being free and protesting and having a difference of opinion. I don't know what you want to tell the government, because apparently he's unable to return because his passport was confiscated.
I don't know whether his passport was confiscated.
They say they took it and they defaced it.
He went back to Canada.
Yes, he's in Canada
on a Canadian, but he can still come back on a Canadian on the Canadian passport.
Yeah.
So if he is able to come back, I think the government should not fear or should not feel that there would be anything wrong welcoming him back. Because I see people who have been in other countries. You find people who have had disagreements with the other leaders. They get welcome back. After all, Miguna is a Kenyan, and he should be free to come home, and he should be free. He should feel free to express himself politically. And those whom he criticizes should be able to accept his criticism in good faith. And not, we seem to have a problem as if with some of the things we do, as if we have not quite overcome the problem of dictatorship. Meaning that we should not consider people our enemies merely because they disagree with us politically. We should have a healthy political climate that allows criticism that is done in good faith to happen without those who are being criticized seeking to eliminate those who are criticizing them, or without feeling the need to categorize these people as enemies or personal or state enemies. They are not. Yeah. And I don't think that if somebody called me a dictator today, I don't think that I would immediately feel that I need to kill those people. Because what's the big thing? What's the big deal? If I'm not a dictator and you call me a dictator, I will not become one.
Yeah.
So I don't have to feel that you are my great enemy merely because you have offered this criticism. Sometimes criticism is healthy. We need it, and it keeps us on our toes anyway. And if somebody is criticizing without a good reason, they lose more than they gain. In fact, sometimes the criticism they direct against you could work against them.
Yeah. Awesome.